Who's my hero? It's a great question. Well, I think my dad is my hero because he's someone that I look up to every day. And my dad.
Honestly, that is the goal. That's the goal that I want to have. I want my kids to someday say, my dad was my hero. My dad was hardworking, he was a godly man, and he was very loving to my mom and us. And that's all that I care for. I think one of the coolest things with posting on social media is that I put it out there and it's there forever. Now this can also be a very bad thing, so I try to be a little cautious with what I actually do, try not to embarrass myself too much. So I can make a video, put it on YouTube, and it's on my channel forever. I make a video on my phone, and my phone gets lost, maybe it doesn't get uploaded to my cloud, it could get lost, and someone may never ever see it again. That's why I love posting on YouTube. I love making content that I can watch later down the line, or that I can make for my family, or especially my daughter, because this video here is going to be a prime example. When she's 18, she can look this up and see, oh, this is what my dad said about me when I was 2 years old, or even my son who's not born yet. Just, they can look at it. I could die tomorrow, I could get cancer, and honestly, I could pass away within the next 4 years or so. My kids aren't going to remember me, they're too young. However, all the videos that I upload, they'll be able to be like, oh, that was what my dad was like, that was his personality and stuff like that. Sorry, that's just, I never really thought of them too much growing up without me, and I just wouldn't want that to happen, but that's why I love creating content, because then they can see what I was like, potentially. But yeah, honestly, I would say that being a dad is probably one of the best things in the world, and if you're a young gent or even an older guy and you're thinking about starting a family, I highly recommend it. I know in today's world it's super crazy and there's a lot of things that are going on, and I know kids are super expensive. However, I would give the world for my daughter and my son, who's not even here yet. But one thing I really want them to also see me is that I work hard, I'm in the pain cave, and I do what it takes to provide for my family, and I serve God. So that's one of the cool things about kids, is you can kind of lead them to where you want them to go, or what you want them to be. Now obviously when they become adults, they can kind of do what they want, they're going to have their own beliefs, and that's okay, I'm totally fine with that. But if I can guide them to where I would like them to be, or the type of person that I would like them to be, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So a great quote or story that I was told before was that our kids start off like a seed. They're internally, within the family, they get everything from their parents. So they learn whatever, their alphabet, what to believe, what language to speak. But as they get older, all these external factors come in and essentially define what your child believes, what they think, what they should think. And that's just the world, especially social media. You get on social media and you can see anything and everything. It's absolutely insane. That's one thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is, do I want my kid to go to public school, a private school? Do I want my wife to homeschool the kid or kids? I don't know, because there's just so many different things out there that can influence them, and the older they get, the less of an influence I'm going to have on them. I know that I went to public school, obviously. I joined the military. I kind of traveled around a lot. I met a lot of different people, especially posting on social media. I talked to a ton of different people. I get tons of different perspectives. However, I still believe what I believe in my core values. And I want to put those core values into my kids, that they should work hard. If they want something, they need to work towards it. Nothing in this life is free. Nothing is going to be handed to them. And I want them to also have fitness in their life as well. I want them to see me working out. That way they can potentially work out. So right now I'm in my home gym, and I will have my daughter in here. We'll play, and we'll also get a workout in at the same time. So we have a little play kitchen, some tins of her toys, some climbing stuff, and I have the rat cage here. I can do whatever I want with it. And like I said, she's just seeing me work out, and that I'm going through the motions and stuff like that. And she likes to join a lot of times. So for example, she'll see me doing some pull-ups here, and then she'll want to go ahead and do some pull-ups. I think that's awesome. I have a little bar that I do for dips. I'll put it on like the lowest setting here, and she'll just kind of hang from it. And we're starting to get her into like tumbling and different stuff like that as well. Just be involved more. And I want to be involved with that kind of stuff. I want her to see that I chose her. I chose my kids. I chose that I wanted to be there. Because I could easily not go to tumbling. I mean, all we do is run around in a circle and jump up and down and on some mats. She's 2, so we don't do a whole lot. But I also want her to say, like, oh, my dad did this with me. My dad was a coach for me. Helped me out with this or that. Even like when it comes to homework, like I want her, both my kids, to be like, oh, my dad was always there. And I kind of look and see how I see myself and where I want them to be. Like I said, I want to set a high standard for them, and I would love for them to set an even higher standard for themselves. So, like, I was the first one in my family to go to college and finish, or graduate from college, I should say. I only have an associate's degree. If one of my kids got something higher and they actually use it, that's awesome. Now, if they go into a bunch of nonsense debt for a liberal arts degree, then I'll probably talk them out of it. But education-wise, like I would love for my kids to go above and beyond what I did. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest or that I did all this great stuff, because I would say I'm just an average dude. A median salary, a normal education, or median education, I should say. My business is not the biggest and best business in the world. Yeah, if my kids just do better than me, I'll be super happy. I also want my kids to see me as a husband and a parent as well, but how I treat my wife, and I want them to be like, oh, Dad was very loving. He was very hardworking, and he always strived for greatness, but he was also a very loving father. He was loving towards us kids, and he was always there, as I was talking about a little bit earlier. But then also to my wife, like I would love for my daughter to be like, I want to find a guy that has the same traits as my dad, who is loving, never argue, I shouldn't say never argue, just say yes to life all the time and you're good. Who would always find a way to make things work in his relationship, no matter how hard it got, and just show more love to their spouse. Now, I will admit I am not the greatest at this. I have many times when I am not a very emotional guy. I'm getting emotional during this whole little podcast / video thing, and hey, it is what it is. But I want them to see that I am loving, and I'm not always the most loving person out there. A great book that I read, I need to reread, is The Five Love Languages and How I Can Make My Wife Feel More Loved, because I do not do that enough. And I want them to just look for a partner that is like me, if that makes sense. Especially my daughter. I don't want her to end up with some bozo or idiot. If she does, she does. I mean, I'll try and influence the best I can, but we'll get there. We'll get down that road when we get there. So I want them to see that I'm hardworking. I want them to see me in the pain cave. I want them to see me just doing all these different fitness stuff and actually eating healthy, because I believe that also plays a huge role as well. What your kids see you doing, they will also do. If my kids see me coming home every night, digging in a bag of chips or cookies and turning on the TV for 3 hours, guess what? That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna think that's normal, and I don't want that. I want them to see that I get up at 5:30 every single day. I get my workout in, and then I start the day. And I just do whatever I can to actually make the business work while also spending time with the family. I try to have balance. No, plenty of people will tell you that you can't have balance, that one thing is going to always outweigh the other, and I believe that is true. However, I try to find the most balance that I can within the two things. And I've always said this before, but if the business has to go on the downside so my family can go up, I want that to be the case, because like I said, personally, my family means everything to me. So talked about those things. Now, when it comes to the relationship with God, I want them to have a good relationship with God. I want them to believe in Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And as my daughter is growing up, we can kind of see that she does pray with us, and like the effects that we're having on her. When we sit down to pray, we'll go ahead and say, "Thank you," and we'll look at her, and she'll go, "Jesus." It's very cute. So with that, we pray every night. We try to pray most of the meals. And then we'll read her the Bible and different books, and we'll bring her to church every Sunday. Now, most Sundays she's in the nursery, obviously playing with the toys, because she doesn't understand what's going on yet. However, as she gets older, I want her to go ahead and actually have that relationship with Jesus. I want her to understand who he is. I believe that there's a difference between a religion and relationship with Jesus. And I just want to have the biggest influence on her when it comes to that. So, am I perfect? Am I the best Christian in the world? No. I do own a faith-based company, but I'm also not like a pastor or anything. My knowledge is not the greatest. And I want to go ahead and increase my knowledge, increase my relationship with God, and I just want our family to grow more in our faith, and that's something that I really want to work on this year in 2025, because I never want to have the experience where my kid steps away from Jesus. I know plenty of parents who have gone through that, and the most you can do is just pray for your child and just show them how good God is to you. And that's kind of what I do with my business. I try not to force Jesus down anyone's throats, but I want to show the world how good God has been to me. And I want other people to say, I want that kind of love. I want that kind of humility, and I just want God in my life to forgive me for my sins. And that's kind of what I do. I don't necessarily say, "Oh, you're going to hell because you have tattoos," or something like that. I have tattoos. I've had plenty of people talk to me about different things about this topic, and if you're one of those people, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you and just show you how good God has been to me, and how he can be amazing for you and how he has been amazing in your life as well. But yeah, I didn't really script this video out like I planned. I just kind of am going off the top of my head, speaking from the heart. And I think that's the three big things, or some of the big things, is I just want my kids to be healthy, be hardworking, work for things that they want. I want them to have fitness in their life. Even if they don't play sports or anything like that, I don't want them to be obese. Not happening. I mean, I'm going to try everything in my path, but obviously if they have issues or whatever, then we're going to go ahead and do the best we can. I also know that plenty of other people have had like eating disorders and stuff like that with their kids, and I definitely want to try and avoid that as much as possible, and I don't want to take my kids down that route at all. But I want them to be healthy. That's it, just healthy. And for me, I believe fitness plays a huge part into everything I do in my life, and that's why I say I want fitness to be in their lives. They don't need to be spending 2 hours in the gym. They don't need to be running marathons. They don't need to be having 18-inch biceps or anything like that. I just want them to be able to work hard, basically, and be healthy. And then the whole loving aspect and just knowing that I cared and that I was a good dad. That's honestly one of my biggest goals, is to just reflect on the day, the month, the year. Could I have done things better? Was I on my phone too much? Was I paying attention to this too much rather than my daughter? And those are different things that I need to take accountability of. And that's something that I'm going to continue to work on and just get better at. Same thing with my relationship with my wife. I need to look at different things that I say and do and just make that a whole lot better. There are no issues right now. However, you can definitely always make things better. Things should never stay the same or be plateaued. I highly believe that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was just having my kids have a great relationship with God, and I touched on that. And like I said, I never want to see them step away from God. I want them to know that He is there, He is their protector, He is their Savior. Now, will we believe the exact same things? Probably not. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure my kids believe what I believe. And that's why I've been considering the type of people they're going to hang out with. Are they getting into public school? Are they going to be homeschooled? There are so many different resources now for homeschool kids that they're not just some weirdo. I remember when I was growing up and we saw the homeschool kid come in for the first time, we were thinking, oh, this kid is weird. But you see all these different videos online of kids being homeschooled, and they're more social than ever. More social than some of the kids that go to public school, which is absolutely insane. But like I said, I get to have that impact on their lives as to how they're going to grow up, the type of person they're going to be, and that's the biggest thing that I want to have on them. Well, anyway, this video is kind of long. Will they ever watch it? Will they ever listen to it? I don't know, but love you guys.